Hello, everybody. My name is Lucas. In November 2020, my brother Mateo contracted COVID-19 like so many of us did. But unlike most of us, he hasn't yet recovered. Mateo is now what is known as a COVID long hauler, a title given to those whose COVID symptoms last more than 3 months. So, yeah. In all this time, he's been documenting his ups, downs, victories, and setbacks through journals, medical records, and love letters to you, the listener. And if he's come to one conclusion, it is that COVID is stupid. Welcome back, everyone, to a new day, a new week, and a new episode of COVID is Stupid. Sort of. You see, this week, we get to simultaneously play host and guest, thanks to a wonderful friend of Mateo's and the podcast, Penny. As some of you may already know, or may come to know soon, Penny is the host of Thru Glass Eyes, a podcast that looks to take the stories of real long haulers far and wide and give them a place to let it all out and keep fighting the good fight, out loud, into the airwaves, and hopefully, into your homes. On January 6th, Mateo was Penny's guest, and for 2 hours, they shared their outlooks, their unique collection of victories and pain points, and everything in between. And when they were done, Mateo said, "Hey, Penny, do you mind if we bring this to COVID is Stupid?" And she did not. So today, we give you a slightly condensed version of that interview. But don't worry, Mateo made sure to keep in all of his favorite jokes. So here's my big brother Mateo with Penny and Thru Glass Eyes.
Good morning, everybody. This is Penny, and this is Thru Glass Eyes. This morning, we have Mr. Mateo joining us. Mr. Mateo runs a YouTube channel called COVID is Stupid. If you have not seen it yet, I will add that into the description when we're done. He has a very interesting and awesome twist to COVID awareness, and it's very worth watching. He brings in the humor and everything. Mateo, thank you so much for coming on and offering to share your story with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Penny. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show. And from an even broader sense, thank you for having a show. Right now, our stories mean so much. And anything we can do to amplify each other's voices and shine a light on the struggles that long haulers are overcoming every day, those are spoons well spent. Before we dive in, I feel it fair to give your audience the same courtesy heads up that I give front desk staff at any new doctor's office I go to. Throughout the conversation, you will see me having intense muscle spasms. They get worse when I'm tired or overstimulated or just crave the attention. They will look gross and painful, but only because they are both gross and painful. They'll pass in a few seconds. They also have a way of seizing up all the important parts in my throat that make talking possible. So you'll hear my stammer get better and worse following the cycle of the spasms. And this is all a long way of proposing a drinking game. Every time I spasm uncontrollably, everyone at home takes a shot of protein shake.
It sounds perfect.
Excellent. Let's dig in.
All right, Mr. Mateo, can you tell us what type of person were you prior to getting the infection that caused this?
Penny, I was a lot. I was a lot. I was a talker. I rarely used 5 words when 500 will do. I was hosting a weekly webinar about health insurance. And if anyone at home is thinking, wow, Mateo, that sounds so boring, you're not wrong. Health insurance is awfully boring. So I took it upon myself to inject a lot of humor and optimism into my presentation style. Actually, I think it's fair to say I inject humor and optimism into most of what I do. So yeah, that was Mateo from the before times.
And Mr. Mateo, when was your first known infection and how did you feel during that time?
First and only, because it only takes one if you do it just wrong, and I seem to have. November of 2020. And how did I feel? My Latin's not great, so I lose some of the medical terms, but I think is about how I felt, but I think that romanticizes it a little bit. Uh, it was it was bad. I joke because that's how I process, but it was bad. I I know there's a kind of COVID that one can get where kind of feels like a cold. They maybe lost sense of smell. Yeah, that wasn't the kind that I got. I got in to see my primary beginning of December. I had to wait 30 days from the date of the initial infection. And I told him I wasn't getting better. And he said I was the second person that day who got infected November 10th. And I thought, though, wow, how about that? I end up going home and I get a call from him that afternoon. And he said he had been thinking about me all morning. And over lunch, he called a pulmonologist friend and they had a discussion about me and they felt I was exhibiting the signs of something called a COVID long hauler. The other big thing that happened health wise is mental health. I started seeing a therapist for the first time in October. And when we started, it was to help with this hypervigilance and inability to categorize risk from low risk to medium risk to high risk. No, everything was extreme risk. And I was terrified. I needed help. After quickly falling off a cliff, both physically and cognitively, I was trapped inside my own shell of a body, like Han Solo in Carbonite, frozen from the outside world. It was then that my therapist told me that one of her specialties was working with people who had traumatic brain injuries. And so my focus shifted from hypervigilance and managing the fear to making sure I don't spiral down the drain of depression, which is so easy. And mm, 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 mm. All right, drink, everyone. Uh, so it's now December 10th, and I get to finally go in and see my primary. There's a reason that so many long haulers are dealing with anxiety and depression. There are lots of reasons, and they're all damn good ones. This is awful. We are suddenly no longer the person that we remember. And that's hard to deal with, very hard. And I'm very glad that I had help. And we continue. That's still the focus. That's not the typical experience with the medical world. And I have had those horrible interactions. I have had the doctors who I will never see again, and Wifey and I have very rude nicknames for, but I don't spend a lot of time there. I don't spend a lot of time on what didn't work and who wasn't helpful. I don't have the energy for that. I get it when I hear it happening, but I don't have the spoons to spend on being angry, whether it's with a doctor, whether it's with family, friends, or the world at large, or my fate in the cosmos. I can't. I can't spend the energy worrying about tomorrow or shaking my fists at yesterday, because both actions rob me of spoons that I need today.
Absolutely. And that's very, very important for people to realize. I have a new PCP, and my very first question to her when I sat down in front of her, I was like, "What do you know about long haul COVID?" And she said, "I'll be honest, I know nothing, but I'm willing to learn." All right. So
Ooh,
you're willing to
very
learn. I
nice.
love that.
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
when she told me that, I was like, okay, I'll stay with you because you're willing to learn. So when we go to doctors, we have certain expectations. And I've walked out crying before because of the blank stare or you look fine, all your tests are coming back normal, but I'm not fine, and that's probably the hardest thing to deal with is, we look fine. And that's why I'm doing this, is because people need to know the raw details to all of this, the raw facts. This is what's happening to us. Go ahead.
On that point, Penny, because it's an important one. People needing to hear the raw. People needing to hear that others are dealing, if not with the same, with similar. We need to feel that we're not alone in our pain. And there's a great comfort in feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling understood, and feeling less alone, feeling like you're part of a community, a horrible community that I really wish none of us belong to, because, but a community nonetheless. There are people listening who will say, I had that too. I've heard of that. I dealt with the same thing with my doctor, and come away from the experience feeling a little bit better about themselves and their own circumstances. So again, thank you for what you're doing for the
No,
community and sharing these stories.
thank you for coming on and sharing it. And I did this because I love talking to people and I can't be in public talking to people. But now I can say, hey, I can talk to you. I have a new friend. And hopefully other people will feel that way just by listening to our stories on here.
Hi, friends.
Absolutely. Welcome, new friends. And when I put it out there too, I say welcome, COVID friends, because we're the ones who can relate with each other. We're the ones who know what's going on or can I get a lot of pain in my shoulders and under, like, down to my shoulder blades. It feels like those muscles are always overworked. And it's been like that for a very long time. And then my daughter is really good at massaging, but if she touches it, it feels like it's like stabbing me. So I can't even have her rub it because it hurts so bad. It's the weirdest stuff. Different things that the doctors do sometimes will make me crash. And it's just crazy how that's happening.
And hearing a story like that the one place you hurt is the one place you absolutely cannot be touched, that to me serves as pretty strong evidence that the universe has a pretty sick sense of humor.
Absolutely. It's crazy.
On the topic of sense of humors, do you mind if I spend a couple minutes there?
Go right ahead. I would love that.
Early on, I told wifey and kiddo that we need to keep laughing. We need to keep making fun, because if we didn't, this would swallow me whole. It's certainly not being glib or flippant or diminishing the gravity of what we're dealing with. It's making sure that I can deal with that heavy gravity and still make it to tomorrow. I had a week at Mayo Clinic, spring break 24, and I got to see all the ologists. And most, if not all of them, commented on my attitude, how important it is to keep a healthy attitude. Still smiling, joking, laughing. To their credit, none of them even implied that I could joke and laugh my way out of this. It's not for everybody. And I recognize that there are a lot of long haulers who aren't ready to laugh right now. And I get it. I absolutely get it. But when you are, look me up.
Absolutely. You talk about your kiddo. Mine is a junior now. Her high school years, I was sick, and I feel bad. And because the other two had mine all the way from elementary to high school to graduation. And then here comes this beautiful one that didn't get that attention. And I feel like because of this, I was robbed and she was robbed and still kind of gets robbed, right? The humor, is that what helps your kiddo deal with this? Does she ever have that issue where she's like, Dad, I wish you were normal?
Thank you for sharing that. That's hard. That's very, very hard.
Sorry.
Oh, good gravy. Don't you dare apologize. The only reason you're getting emotional is because you care and because you're a good person. The parental guilt is real. The spousal guilt is real. The friend guilt, employee guilt, maybe less so, but the guilt is real, and it's hard. There's no way around that. It's hard. But then when it's about our kids, that is a whole new level of guilt, because, like you said, you wanted to give your daughter the same that all their sisters received and all that you knew that she deserved. the way you phrased it, you were robbed of that ability, that opportunity. That can be devastating. You asked if the humor is part of how kiddo manages. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if it's fair for me to speak on her behalf, but that's kind of always how we have interacted with the world at large through humor. I don't go on family vacations with wifey and kiddo. They tell me they wish I could come, and I wish I could too. And it's certainly not because I don't want to be there with them. It's because I love them and I want them to have a vacation from me and everything that comes with me. I want them to be able to go and have the experience without the burden of making sure it is accessible, making sure that it's not too bright, too loud, too fast, too whatever. I want them to go and have that time to enjoy themselves without an asterisk next to it. And then they can come home refreshed and ready to put up with my crap.
And it's funny, the word burden,
It's a loaded
that's
word,
how I
isn't it?
feel. It is. And that's how I feel. I feel forgotten sometimes, but
Sure.
it's not anything they're doing because they're living their life, right?
And we're happy for them that they are.
Absolutely. It just makes it hard because we want to do it with them.
While no, our families may not understand because they're not experiencing it, and we hope they never have to. Much like your doctor that you mentioned earlier, they're willing to learn. They're willing to listen. And some days, listening is enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I really appreciate that for making me feel comfortable enough to talk about it so other people can feel, know that we do feel that guilt and it's okay to feel the guilt. We didn't ask for this. It's a lot. It's a lot that we have to deal with.
You said something I really liked there, that it's okay to feel it. And yeah, I would even take it a step further. It's okay to feel it, and it's okay to say it out loud. It's okay to acknowledge it. It's okay to talk about it. If you weren't feeling a certain kind of way about being a long hauler, I would be inclined to check your references and just make sure you really are long hauling, because this comes with a host of human feels. Something that I know I learned through this, and I've heard other long haulers express those feels. They cost as much or more energy as walking across the room. Doesn't matter if you're spending a physical, a mental, or an emotional spoon. It's all coming from the same energy bucket. And if we overspend now, we're borrowing from tomorrow. And that's all the less we'll have to get through that day. So we often don't feel those feels. But what you said, it's okay to feel it. I want to embroider that and put it on a pillow and send it to Texas, because Penny, that was beautiful. Yes, it is okay to feel it.
I'm going to ask you one more question, then I'm going to let you go. I know you've given a lot of people advice through our conversation, and I absolutely love it. If there's one thing that you hope they take away from our conversation, what would be that one thing that you would want them to take away?
We are still here. You are still here. You're still in this fight, and you have so much more left to give the world. It's not the things we lost. It's not the things we can't. It's not the things we don't. It's the things we can, and the things we have, and the things we will do. You are still here, and I am damn proud of you. That would be my message.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. Y'all, if you like our videos, I'm going to share his YouTube in the description. If you like what you're watching, if it is helping you at all, please like, share, and subscribe to our channels. All we want to do is help other people. That's our biggest thing that we're trying to do here. We're here just to help you and just show you that we're here for you. You're not alone. You do matter. You are worthy of so much more than what you think you are right now. You've got this.
Yeah, right on, Penny. You know, while this is a fundamental point in the struggle with long-haul COVID and, I suppose, human existence, it can still be hard to remember and carry with you. And that lesson is that everyone's story is unique. So the kindness, empathy, and understanding that we all know is important may hit a little deeper for some people. And some of those people could really use it because they are still here. And if you're still here, take a second to subscribe to Penny's podcast, Thru Glass Eyes. And that's through THRU, not OUGH. Thru Glass Eyes. Find that on YouTube or send her an email at longhaulcovidfriends@gmail.com. If you didn't get it written down, it's in the notes below. And if you're worried that you can't play a part in this, you can. Whether you consider yourself healthy or otherwise, listening to the stories of long haulers, sharing those stories, and passing those stories forward helps keep the conversation going so COVID does not remain an invisible illness. As always, you can email us at covidisstupid2020@gmail.com. And don't forget, that's stupid with 2 O's, not a U. Go find us on your socials. Go find us on your podcast apps. COVID is Stupid is there, and all you got to do is hit the right buttons, and you're in. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And thank you again, Penny, for having us. And a huge thank you to all the COVID long haulers who are keeping the conversation active and public, sharing your voices with each other and the world, who just may not have heard the news yet. The news that we're all feeling and now people are saying. And that news is that COVID is stupid.